Good evening, and happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. I am coming to you live here, Dr. Naisha. Good evening, and happy Thursday. I am coming to you live here, Dr. Naisha. Good evening, and happy Oh, wow. There's a little bit of an echo. I am coming to you live here. So I want to talk to you about charting. Oh, wow. And some of us are EMR power users, but let's face it, charting. Some of us I'm getting a little bit of feedback, so let me just handle this for just one moment here. So let's try this here. Okay, let's start this back. So I'm coming to you live on a Thursday night, and I want to talk to you about charting and how to shave hours off of your charting so that you can spend your nights and weekends with your family. Now, I know that for some of you out there, you all are power users when it comes to EMR. But let's face it, in the world of burnout, in the world of exhaustion and overwhelm, electronic medical records and charting, especially with all of the um, meaningful use and the extra clicks and extra requirements of charting, it has become the bane of our existence. So, excuse me. And I talked to many of my doc moms who are spending time at home on their days off in the evenings, late into the hours of night, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, charting when they should be fast asleep or when they should be spending time with their spouses or their children. So I wanted to bring you four tips, four major tips that will actually shave tons of time off of your charting. So let me go ahead and jump right in. Let me go ahead and jump right in. So the first is templates. And you might be aware of templates. And of course, if you are in an organization that uses Epic, you're very aware of templates. But using templates in charting is a way um, to shave off um, the amount of time that you spend typing in the things that you are repeating in your daily work. So I generally recommend making a list of the most common conditions that you see based on your specialty. So as a family doc, you know, hypertension, diabetes, hyperlipidemia, metabolic syndrome, because a lot of times we come in with people with all three, well woman visits, well child visits of various ages, you know, various templates for various ages, and creating these templates so when they populate, not only do they populate the HPI, the most common components of the HPI, I should say. So you have to change very little, but also the most common components of the physical exam and the most common components of your assessment and plan. So when you click that template, the entire chart should populate, and all you're doing is entering for the HPI little nuances of what that patient is telling you is going on, and little nuances of the exam and the plan if there's some change from the last time. So your templates are huge when it comes to making your life easier. Templates actually allow you to chart in the room with the patient easier. Templates allow you to pre-prepare your charts easier, which, segueing, is the second big tip. I recommend, if you have time, either the morning of, maybe coming in 15 minutes earlier or 20 minutes earlier, going through your schedule and pre populating your charts with the template in the morning for the people you kind of know what they're coming in for. You're familiar with them. Pre populate the chart, pre populate the orders so that you're saving time. You're saving time when it comes to the actual visit. And again, it makes charting in the room with the patient so much easier because, again, you're just putting little nuances in for the HPI, the exam, the assessment, the plan, and the orders are already done. So you don't have to click, endless clicking to put the orders in. You know what orders that you're typically going to order. Um, and then you can spend a little bit more time with the patient, interacting with the patient. Okay, which is another tip. It's kind of a bonus tip, is when you're in the room, excuse me, when you're in the room charting with the patient, utilize every exam opportunity to chat, to do the small talk that you like to do to connect with the patient so that that patient feels listened to, and it gives you space to actually be at the computer charting and be more direct with the actual structure of the visit when you're needing to chart, because they don't feel like you're in the chart the whole time, because you do at the point where you're having the exam, you are talking to them and you're conversing with them, and you're actually using that time as connection time with the patient as well. Now, the third the third point, the third tip that I want to share with you is, in charting, use bullet points. Use bullet points. Now, I know that out there are some English majors who happen to go into medicine, and there are some people who really are um, committed to a very thorough note. But if you're writing novels out there, then that could be one of the reasons why it takes so long for you to finish your charts. So I recommend not being afraid to use bullet points, especially in your assessment and plan, because you can still be rather thorough in your charting without having to write this whole novel. You can still transmit what you're thinking in a very succinct way without taking hours to write your plan. So definitely consider using bullet points, especially in your assessment and plan, because I know in the assessment and plan, that's where things tend to get a little lengthy with a lot of people. And sometimes even in the HPI, sometimes that can be a little lengthy if you're not using bullet points. Now, if you are a person that is insistent and attached to um, the full structure sentence um, aspect of charting, then I would recommend, and this is actually coming up on a fourth tip, that you consider dictation, a dictation program, a dictation software, because it's much faster to speak into um, to speak the note than it is to try to type the note. And oftentimes when you're typing and you're making a mistake, and then you have to back up a little bit, and then you're thinking about what you're trying to say. Whereas in your mind, if you know the plan, you can verbalize the plan and then clean it up afterwards. If you're not trying to, again, write a perfect grammar, perfect punctuated, perfect sentence structure novel in your chart. So I do recommend that you consider detaching yourself from the fact that the note has to be perfect sentence structure, perfect grammar, perfect punctuation all the way through, because again, that attachment has the charting of the note take longer. So here are my 4 tips. Create templates. It takes time to create templates, but it's well worth the investment of time. Create a template for the all of the most common conditions that you see in your specialty. And what you do is you first sit down, make a list of all of those things, and even go into the chart and look at, okay, what are the most common things that I see all the time? Even if it's not well, if it's sick, like UTIs or URIs, or, what are the most common things? And I'm speaking actually from my specialty. So whatever your specialty is, you make that list. What are the most common things that you see in your practice all the time? Create templates for those and create thorough templates, um, so that when you're going to populate the chart, everything that you would normally want to say in there is in there. And all you have to do is a few little tweaks. What that does is at the end of your day or at the end of your visit, the chart is complete, close the chart. Or at the end of the day, it takes 30 minutes or less to close all your charts because everything is pre-populated in. Second one, pre-prepare your charts. That's the second tip. Pre-prepare your charts. If you show up to work 15, 20 minutes earlier, or if you take 15 to 20 minutes in the evening, once you've caught up with your charts and you're not spending hours in the evening catching up on charts. But if you take 15 to 20 minutes in the evening or get to work 15 to 20 minutes earlier, then you can look through your schedule, pre-populate your charts with the template note, with the orders. And if you know what meds are going to be refilled, go ahead and pre-populate them with med order refills as well, and get all the meaningful use clicks out of the way. So when you actually go into the room with the patient, you can have that conversation. You can do some tweaking here and there, and you can finish your chart very quickly at the end of the visit, or again, at the end of the day, if you have, if you're used to staying at the end of the day for 15, 20, 30 minutes. The third thing is use bullet points. Use bullet points. So if you're a novelist, begin to shift your mindset away from needing to have perfect grammar, perfect punctuation, perfect full sentence structure, and begin to look at how to state your assessment and plan, even your HPI, succinctly in bullet points. And it takes practice, but the more you practice, the more you'll find that you can actually communicate everything that you need, everything that you're thinking and you need to communicate within that bullet point, okay, between the assessment and the plan. If you are super attached to your novel format, then consider using dictation software. And most dictation software this day and age is smart. So at first, it may take some learning of some of the medical tech terminology, but after some time, it does actually learn. And the more you use it, the more it learns, the easier it gets. So Dragon is one. Some people have mixed reviews about that. I know that some EMRs actually have built-in um, dictation software. If you can access your EMR from an iPad, you can use Siri. You'd be surprised at how much medical terminology Siri has learned. I guess I don't even know how that's possible, but I know that I've used Siri for some dictation now. There are some drawbacks to that, but if you don't have dictation software, you can't get to it. If you can access your EMR from your iPad, you might try using Siri or downloading a dictation app or a voice to text app. So that's the third tip. And then the fourth tip is to utilize every opportunity inside the patient visit to chart. And so you chart throughout the visit, and you utilize the exam to connect and communicate with patients so that when you're charting, it doesn't take away from the visit, because you're still connecting with the patient while you're examining the patient, while you're walking around the room. And even as they're talking to you and you're typing, you're saying, hey, I'm going to type this in so I don't forget, look up, reconnect with the patient. And if you're connecting with the patient between typing, it doesn't make them feel so much like you're going away. So that's the fourth tip. I hope you have enjoyed these tips. You can put them to good use right away. And you will find that when you start to take these four tips, start with the foundation of templates, build on it with pre-preparing the charts, start to practice using bullet points, and then utilizing the patient visit most efficiently, that it will shave time off of your charting, and it will allow you to close your charts a lot quicker at the end of the day. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are plenty more tips where that came from, and each person's situation is different. So if you want to know more about how to apply this personally to your life, and to be able to learn more how to shave more time off of your charting so that you can be able to spend more time with your family, spend more time with your spouse and children in the evenings, and get more time for yourself, then feel free to reach out to me for a discovery call, and we can talk about how you can actually apply this to your personal situation. Also, learning to chart is one component of a bigger strategy in creating a balanced existence and preventing and recovering from burnout. We know that there are multiple causes, multiple root causes to burnout. And if we want to be able to really get at the root cause and really what do I want to say? Really get at the root cause and really combat this thing, then we have to look at what are all of the factors involved. Charting, that's just one symptom. And so again, if you're suffering from exhaustion and overwhelm, charting may be one factor, but if you really want to know what are all of the ways that you can create balance in your life, again, reach out to me for a free strategy call. How you do that is to go to stressfreemomand.com/booking. And you can go ahead and book your discovery call. You can also watch the webinar right on the home page. You can click register and watch the webinar 5 Steps to Reclaim Your Time, Joy, and Freedom as a Mom in Medicine. So again, hope you enjoyed these tips. I'll be bringing more where that came from, so stay tuned. And you all have a great weekend, and I will see you on the other side.